what would your be assessment of why military age men would be coming across, especially in that volume?
Well, so what people need to understand is this thing, and nobody really talks about it much, but this is all being facilitated by the CCP, the Communist Party of China. Um, they've just used they've weaponized the cartels against the United States to destabilize the United States. China knows they can never invade us from the sea and hit our country and hit us that way. So the way they're going to attack us is they're going to destabilize our nation, and then they're going to flood our nation with people that are loyal to their cause, and that would be military-aged men that would be able to fight. If they were able to get armed, there could be an uprising very easily in our country, like we saw in Israel on the border.
Right. And so I keep hearing these things. I'm going to address it in chat, and maybe this will be the last time. They said Derek Johnson said he drove the border and he didn't see a lot of people. What gives? Well, it depends where you go to the border.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I went to Sassabee, and there were over 200 people in Sassabee. Their stories align exactly with what Sean says. They just walk over the border, they sit down, they camp out, and they wait 2 or 3 days sometimes more for the border patrol to pick them up and ship them and then put them wherever in the country that they feel is fit. So the great example is you can go to any place in the border that doesn't have anything going on, or you can go to the places where you know it's going on. That's a choice, in my opinion.
So there's different things that are happening on the Arizona border depending on where you are. So, like, if you want to see big groups of people, you're going to go to Sassabee and Arivaca, you're going to go to Lukeville, and you're going to go to Yuma. That's where they're pushing all the family units across. That's where you're going to see the women and the children and a lot of military-aged men. The places where you're not seeing people are the places where the gotaways are getting in the country. They're coming in camouflage and carpet shoes. These are guys that are criminals. They're terrorists. They're people that don't want to be detected. They're trying to get as far into the country as possible without being detected. That's why they're wearing camouflage. That's why they're wearing carpet shoes. That's why they're led by a coyote to where they need to go to get picked up by a vehicle to take into the destination that they're trying to go to. A lot of those people are military-aged men setting up operations and counterintelligence operations in the United States for nation states. And some of them are cartel operatives moving into the United States to set up operations, their drug operations and their smuggling operations in other states across the nation. But look, every state in the United States right now is a border state. Okay, the border is our biggest national security risk right now as of 9/11. From 9/11, this is the biggest national security risk to our nation right now. We have 160 countries coming into our country right now, and a lot of them are unfriendly. We don't have a lot of friends right now, so a lot of these people are coming in. They're setting up shop in the United States. They're collecting intelligence on our military bases, on the assets that we have here, communication, infrastructure, all that stuff, because when it goes to attack, that those are the areas that they're going to hit. Those are going to be the areas of interest that they're going to want to attack. And they're sending these people in to record all that information. I mean, we're seeing it with the Chinese. A lot of states right now are passing legislation in their states to prevent Chinese people, nationals, from buying property. And a lot of that property is being bought in farm areas and around military bases. Why? Because they're setting up cyber warfare centers. They're setting up, areas where they're going to attack us through cyber. And there's been numerous busts by the FBI and federal agencies where they've cracked down and found these places in different parts of the country where they're attacking our infrastructure through the cyber, the internet. So, that's the other thing of this. There's so many pieces to this puzzle that are going on. And then the funding part of it. Like, a lot of people don't know right now, China is heavily embedded in Mexico. The triad gangs in Mexico are laundering all the cartel money. So the cartels are making China rich in all this also because they're benefiting from this.
I think I think it's important you repeat that so everybody knows, because this is a huge deal about what the triad is doing in Mexico.
Yeah, the triads are the main source for money laundering in Mexico. They are heavily embedded. A lot of them are married into cartel families. A lot of people don't know this, but there's big Chinese communities and Asian communities in Mexico, and a lot of them are married into different families and the population in Mexico, and they're very heavily tied to the Mexican cartel.